And welcome back, everyone, to Deathbattle Prediction. We haven't done one of these in a hot minute, because like the last 3 or 4 were all the announced ones I had already done the predictions for when we hit the milestones. But this is the first time, frankly, in at least Deathbattle does it now like once every month, give or take. 4 or 5 months I've had to do a prediction video, and this is not what I was expecting. Blade versus Buffy. I was not expecting that one, because I mean we're reaching the limit of all the ones we knew were coming based on those milestones they did for the Kickstarter. We still got like Ash versus Pikachu, Ash versus Yugi. We still got that one. I think we still got 1 or 2 other ones that I can't remember off the top of my head. But now we just have a bunch of ones we didn't know were coming, and this is one of them. Now I've done this versus before. But seeing as it's a death battle and, times pass and we get new information, new comics, all that, it's important to go over it again. And I'm going to tell you right now, I do think there's an avenue where Buffy wins this, depending on how Death Battle composites Buffy. But if we're going on just sheer base abilities, I feel like Blade is going to easily kick her ass. Like, I feel like, don't get me wrong, Buffy isn't weak. Slayers are built differently than humans. They have better reflexes, better agility. They do, in fact, have healing factors. Not like Wolverine or even Blade level healing factors, but they do have healing factors. They have extrasensory capabilities. But she's, in terms of like how physically strong she is, like a normal physically decent, like a decently built guy who knows how to fight can take her in a fight. That's not normally the case with someone like Blade. Blade is superhuman. He is straight out superhuman. He has easily, he easily can dodge straight point blank gunfire. He's got durability to go through brick stone walls and be fine, and be thrown around and be fine. He's got the physical strength to throw men around, breaks through stone. All in this, and this is just low level base stuff. This isn't even him maxed out. He has a healing factor that is far supersedes Buffy's healing factor. Not on like a Wolverine level, though he and Wolverine have duked it out a couple times. But he is still can recover from far more grievous wounds than Buffy's dealt with far quicker. And if he has to, he can survive by drinking blood as well. And that increases his abilities even further. He tries not to, but he can do that. Beyond that, though, he actually can even drain mysticism out of individuals. I was looking up feats for him. He literally has a feat where the Ghost Rider, I think it was Danny Reyes, was like going insane. So he literally bit and sucked out the poisonous mysticism in Ghost Rider. So even the somewhat mysticism she has, Buffy, and she does actually have a little bit of it. It's mostly like for protective stuff. He can actually suck that out of her veins. Not to mention that he's clearly the more skilled martial artist. He's also much older than her, so far more experience. Even though you can make the argument that the Slayers are kind of like the Avatar. They keep reincarnating and, they keep building on that. He's got far better weaponry, too. She doesn't normally carry the type of weapons he carries. Mind you, a lot of his weapons are specifically designed for vampires, but his sword is rated E for everyone. Same with a lot of the other Blade weaponry he has. He's cut straight through Ghost Rider's motorcycle. That's no small feat. And he also carries a lot of firearms, and Buffy, as we've seen, is not immune to a bullet. But there is Twilight Buffy to be considered here. Because all the other temporary powers he has, I really don't think they're going to give them to her. But the Twilight, if they are looking at her at their max potential, theoretically, the Twilight Buffy that we get, I think it's either near the end of Buffy's run or sometime in Angel, I can't remember when it came out, that was kind of her at her near max, where she had far more powerful superhuman strength, speed, durability. She could fly. She was not truly invulnerable, but definitely on the more invulnerable side. She did lose these powers, however, so she doesn't have these powers anymore. So I'm not sure Death Battle is going to include them. But if they are going to include them for her, I'm still not saying it's a lock for. It would be a complete and opposite curbside stomp for Buffy in her favor. First off, they bring that out at the very end of the fight. Let's be honest, they're not doing that from the get. But even if they did do Twilight Buffy, Blade has literally sucked out like the evil magic out of a Ghost Rider, who would far supersede Buffy at that point. Like Ghost Rider would make mincemeat of that Buffy. The Buffy universe is not that powerful of a verse. Blade deals with far more powerful individuals on a day-to-day basis. The vampires in Blade's world far outclass the vampires in Buffy's world. So that's another thing that's got to be taken into consideration. The other thing I'm wondering here is this going to be the live action fight we were told we were going to get? Because if you remember, we were told we were going to get there's at least one live action fight that was guaranteed with the Kickstarter. I'm actually going to see, I'm going to go right now and see if I can find that Kickstarter again. It's been a long time. Like, it's harder to find it now because Deathbattle's now been back for a while. But hold on, Deathbattle. Let me just type in Deathbattle. It's probably going to be quicker to do that. Deathbattle. Let me see if I can find every single Deathbattle that could still be coming and what we know is coming. Okay, so let me. I would have. The problem is I got to go all the way back to when they did the announcement video. That's when I got to go back to. And that's going to be a little bit ways down. Okay, 4 months ago, Champions, 4 months ago, don't care about that. And there's a lot of members only stuff that, I'll be honest, I'm perfectly fine not being a part of. I support them by watching, so there you go. Okay, Ghost Rider versus Spawn. Oh man, this was a while ago, over 9 months ago, is that right? Is that where, yes, I think it was something along, oh no, we gotta go even further back. Wow, we're now in, man, Deathbattle's been back for almost a year. It does not feel like it. Okay, hold on. So Bardock, okay, Broly versus Bardock. That was the first one when they came back. Okay, so where was that announcement video? I'm trying to find it. Let's see here. No. We're just about a year back now. Okay, yes. Okay, How to Save Deathbattle. That was the video. I'll have to remember that's the title of the video every time. Okay, How to Save Deathbattle. So you can still find the link to that Kickstarter on this, which does have all the, the stuff lined up on there. It has the fights and everything that was like, okay, so hold on. Okay, so they had reached their way beyond there because they had their pledged goal. By the way, this shows you how big a community and how much we love Deathbattle. Their pledge goal was 75 grand. They did nearly 10, just barely 10 times that, or just under. Okay, so yeah, we had 4 episodes, two including Bowser versus Eggman and Omni-Man versus Bardock. Then they hit. Let's see. Then we had 2 more episodes, including Kratos versus Asura. So we've had those. We had the rematch fight, which was Master Chief versus Doom Guy. We have Mahito versus Shigaraki. We still have not had Aang versus Traveler yet, and we still have not had Yuki versus Ash yet. Okay. Then there was the 2 episodes, including live action. We just had Ruby versus Maka. Hulk versus Godzilla, and we still haven't had Groove versus Megamind. So the confirmed one stuff: Groove versus Megamind, Aang versus Traveler, and Ash versus Yugi. So yeah, I mean, they're doing great, and yeah, we have a confirmed live action one. The question is, look, normally these guys are on the street level style. They still go the supernatural, sure, but in terms of how you'd portray them in a death battle, this one would make sense to be the live action one, I think. I mean, I don't really see why not. Unless you're going to try to... Here's the thing. If it's live action, and I don't know if it's been confirmed live action. I actually have the episode up here right now. I'm seeing if this is going to be a live action fight or not. Hold on. Let's see here now. Let's see the winners. Did they in the announcement say it was going to be live action? Because if it's not live action, they still could go Twilight Buffy, which would be a lot harder for Blade to deal with. If it's live action, I don't see them using Twilight Buffy, which means I really would give it to Blade at that point. Let's see here. Blade versus Buffy. Doesn't say it's live action. Okay. So because it doesn't say it's live action, I'm going to go under the assumption that right now it's not. But even with Twilight Buffy, which is definitely harder for Blade to overcome, no doubt about it, and it's possible she could actually beat him with the Twilight form she has. But with that said, I'm gonna still lean towards Blade. Um, Blade just deals with far more dangerous threats on a more regular basis than Buffy does. The vampires in this universe scale higher to her vampires. Even though she's certainly dealt with a lot of demons, she's certainly dealt with supernatural threats that are much stronger than vampires. She herself doesn't outright beat them in a fight usually. She herself, when we're talking about things like the Beast and the Master, she herself needs help from her friends, whereas Blade has dealt with more powerful individuals on a regular basis. He's gotten one over on Ironheart before. He's beaten the crap out of Deadpool. He stabbed the Hulk. He survived a shot from the Hulk. Like that, it's just from a scaling perspective, his world's gives the edge to him. Look, I don't know. Let me know if it's confirmed or not. This is live action or not. I'm leaning towards Blade. I think most of us would be leaning towards Blade. I know there's the Buffy community is very passionate though, and I liked Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm not trying to diss on Buffy. I'm just stating my opinion here, in that I feel like the numbers, the feats, the skills, they all lean towards the advantage of Blade, really. Anyway, I digress, though. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.